Welcome to the Mixed Reception Podcast. I'm your host, Barrett Sigmund, and today, very special guest, a returning guest, Mr. Trip Rumble. What is up, my friend?
Oh, man, that much is fresh off of a viewing of Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
So we did Mortal Kombat a while back. That was the first time I had you on. I kind of went back and forth because typically I only do movies that are kind of polarizing, kind of controversial, maybe movies that got mixed reviews, movies that, you know, maybe at the time weren't appreciated, but later on kind of got some love, you know, a cult following. This movie, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of hard to sell this one for this podcast. The only thing I'll say is, because by all accounts, everybody hated this when it came out. I mean, just scorched by the critics. But I do feel like it kind of has a small cult following for people who like enjoy really bad movies.
Yes, I think this is one of the best bad movies to watch.
I agree. So this was the first time I had seen it. I watched it last night. I had seen clips. And I had heard it was really bad. But yeah, first time for me last night. What is your history with this movie?
So I saw this movie when I was a small child. So, for me and my friends, we thought that this PG-13 movie was basically like being a cool adult and seeing a rated R movie. Like, oh, we're going to get into Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Oh my God, it was so violent. Oh, it was so adult. Ooh. Oh, and the two red belts kicked this guy's ass, like that kind of thing. So, I was just floored by it as a little kid, because it's not the Mortal Kombat movie anyone needed, but it is the Power Rangers feature that we all deserved at the time.
I was definitely in some Power Ranger vibes.
Huge Power Rangers vibe. And yeah, and so for a bunch of little boys, like, it was wild. Like, oh my gosh, everyone's just backflipping and spin kicking the whole movie. No one ever really like walks anywhere. There's a scene, one of my favorite, I'm just going to call them sequences. They're not proper scenes. Liu Kang, he's in this like wintry dream. He sees Jade. She pulls him close. She's like, oh, I finally found you. And then she kisses him and he's like, wait, my heart belongs to another. And she's like, ah, and then like a fight sequence starts. Like she suddenly gets a costume and a spear out of nowhere and they fight each other. And then she's like, this was just a test. And when you're a kid, you're like, this is the best thing I've ever seen.
Oh, that was a hot scene. Even 31-year-old me was like, whoa, hubba. Did you see this in theaters?
Yes. When I was a little kid, I saw it in theaters.
You did? So your parents took you to see this?
I went with one of the neighbor boys who was a little bit older than us. And I remember not being forthcoming about what movie I was seeing with my mom and dad.
So like when you came home, did you were like, oh yeah, I don't know what other movie was out that
yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Lion King was awesome. I don't know. But this is 97. But yeah,
go ahead.
But yeah, hilariously, it's like, it's hard. It's not violent at all. Like, I mean, like there's a lot of punching and kicking and stuff like that, but it's not the blood fest that, they were advertising it to be, or that, moms and dads were worried about.
Well, I should say, so I decided to do this because I think in 2 weeks, the new one is coming out.
Yes.
The reboot. Have you seen the trailer for
yes.
that?
It's exciting. Obviously, they're actually kind of taking it a little seriously, and I think it'll be cool to watch an earnest effort to make a actually good movie out of this franchise. Would be neat. They did say, I did read interviews where the guy said he was really pushing the rated R limit and trying to cram in as much horrible violence as he possibly could without bumping it to NC-17.
Yeah, the trailer was great. I mean, yeah, they released a Red Band trailer. Yeah, I mean, arms are getting fucking ripped off. Yeah, I mean, it's gory. It seems like the fight choreography is very good. It doesn't have Johnny Cage, which I'm kind of bummed about.
We might.
But I guarantee you, this movie, the after credits scene is going to be like, oh, evil shall come a day. You're going to have to get an army together. And it's going to be like a picture of fucking Johnny Cage. I guarantee you that's what it's gonna be.
I'm here for it, man. I'm really, really here for it.
I'm gonna have a bunch of people over to watch it, a viewing party, like we
I will be there
with Godzilla and King Kong. I'm gonna have you're going, everybody. Yeah, everybody's invited. Okay, but yeah, so let's kind of get into. I'll kind of set the tone at the time. This movie, critically panned. It has a whopping 2% on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know what's more surprising, the fact that it has 2% or the fact that somebody actually liked it.
Some critic out there gave it a good review. I can't believe it.
Yeah, I mean, Metacritic 11, IMDb 3.7. I mean, like, horrible reviews. I could only find one good review. Well, not even a good review. The most positive review I could find was like a mixed review. I went on Metacritic. Chicago reader Lisa Alspector gave it a 60. Quote, "But the most stimulating, satisfying aspect of this action fantasy is the theme music." So the most positive review I could find, the only thing they said was good about it was the theme music.
And it's some banging theme music.
It is pretty good. I have to say, I do like how this movie starts, like the New Line Cinema logo, and then like the theme song.
The letters fly at you in like crappy CG, but they've got Ninja Star sound effects. Shing, 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 shing. Mortal Kombat. Swing Annihilation.
A lot of these reviews are kind of funny. I got another one. Entertainment Weekly, Owen Gleiberman, a 16 out of 100. Fragmented and monotonous without a semblance of the gymnastic cleverness that at least made the first Mortal Kombat film into watchable trash. Mortal Kombat Annihilation is as debased as movies come. Well, that review is not really that funny, but I will say there's one. The fight scenes are horrible in this.
They're just ass. It's this whole movie is just a big run-on sentence.
It is. I got another one. New York Times, Lawrence Van Gelder, 10 out of 100. Here's the lockdown on the latest chapter in Mortal Kombat. Deadly dull. Try to do a joke there. This is the funniest. Okay, this is a hilarious review. It gave it 0 stars. LA Weekly. It's cynical and it's depressing. And I would lock a child in a room before I'd show him Mortal Kombat Annihilation. What are your thoughts? Is being locked in a room more entertaining than this movie?
I will disagree with that take.
I do too.
I think like I could watch Brian Thompson be Shao Kahn forever. Just the way that dude just like talks and grunts all of his lines. Like, and he's kind of like he's kind of incomprehensible. Like he kind of, he's trying to say the greatest army in existence, but what comes out of his throat is the greatest army.
It's like I was thinking about this, Trip. You kind of look like a skinnier Brian Thompson. I was like, oh wow, that's Trip if he was like a little older and like buff.
If I was buff and if I had like the posture and breathing habits of a pro wrestler.
So Brian Thompson, I've seen him in a couple of things. He was in Cobra. I think he was in some episodes of like the X-Files. He's always the muscle, and he's way out of his element in this movie. He really is. I mean, he should not be the main bad guy.
It feels weird coming from the last movie where the main bad guy was this kind of like charismatic, cunning, charming guy. And then now like they escalate it. And instead of having someone else be that even more, it's just kind of a big, dumb musclehead dude is somehow the bigger bad than Shang Tsung.
Also, like, he's like the son of another bad guy, and he barely does anything in this movie. I don't know who's
Yeah, they try to cram way too much lore into this shit. And like, this movie is like, I wonder if the pitch meeting for this movie was like, all right, Mortal Kombat wasn't the best, but this sequel can definitely be the worst.
They succeeded there. Which I gotta say, the first one, I can't remember what I gave it. I think I either gave it a 2.5 or a 3. I mean, for what it is, it's not bad. It's fine. It's entertaining. It's cheesy, but yeah.
So this is a very loose adaptation of Mortal Kombat 3, the video game.
That's what I read. Yeah.
It's what's weird about this. In Mortal Kombat 3, the video game, there's an Easter egg you can do for your finishing move. And if you instead of just pulling out somebody's spine, you do the right code, the character turns into an animal and then ravages your opponent. It's called an animality. And they took this comedic Easter egg and made it a serious plot point for the movie.
Well, I say let's just get into notes because right off the bat, I appreciate that this movie does have a bit of a recap at the beginning because I did kind of forget because I hadn't seen the first one since we talked about it. So I did appreciate the recap. But then it starts off immediately where the last one left off. And right off the bat, like you just know something's up with this movie because the green screen is horrible. You could see like the white outline of the characters.
Oh my God, yeah. It's such a shame coming from the last one, which actually had really interesting like real set design, that now they're just leaning entirely on green screen for this.
And everybody is recast. Raiden is recast instead of Christopher Lambert. It's James Remar, which I like the other actor better. He was kind of goofy and like he was kind of charming, and this actor is just like playing it totally straight.
Yeah.
And they recast. Yeah, everybody's recast except Liu. What is it? Liu Kang. Who's
Liu Kang, and I think Katana is played by the same actress.
Yeah, everybody else is recast, and they kill off Johnny Cage. Which what the fuck?
He was one of
he's the best character.
Yeah, from the series in general, and really from the original movie too. Like, and what kills me about this recasting, if you're recasting the whole, like, let's say you're put in this impossible position as a director where you have to do this big sequel, but have everyone be recast, don't pick up exactly where you left off, because that makes the recasting so obnoxious and blatant. Because you evoke the last scene from the previous movie, except now the actors are these like great value knockoffs.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Of the originals.
Because Johnny Cage from the first one was like, he was funny, he was charming, like kind of a sleaze, but like, he was just like a lovable scoundrel. Like he was like one of the only characters who had some semblance of like a personality.
Mm-hmm.
And then
you're killing off your everyman character, sort of with that. Or Liu Kang plays an everyman.
Liu Kang is like the main character, but yeah, I mean, you kind of had that comic relief, and I feel like they replaced him with Jax, which we'll get into later. I have a lot to say about Jax. Also, too, if you remember in the first movie, who's the bad guy? Shao Kahn. He's like a giant.
Or no, there was the big giant guy from the first one was Goro.
Who's that big, like, wasn't there like a big thing in the sky at the end of the last movie? I can't remember.
That was supposed to be Shao Kahn, yeah.
Okay, and then this movie, it's like he's little, also, and then like he's got this. All the costumes in this movie look like they're Halloween costumes. Like they really do.
You know, and I'll give it one nice point for that is that in the 2000s and the 2010s, whenever they would try and adapt some corny franchise, one of my big gripes with this stuff is like they would take away all the colorfulness from the characters. Like when they made a live action Transformers or a live action G.I. Joe, try and make it more realistic. So Annihilation just gets one legitimate point of goodness from me, that they kept the corny superhero-y charm of these costumes. Could they have been better? Fucking yes, of course. But, and we'll see that in the new Mortal Kombat movie. I think they struck a good balance of realism and, while maintaining the classic iconic design.
But I have a theory. I think they ran out of money, and I think they went to the Party City and bought Mortal Kombat like costumes.
Yeah, the cyborg guy, the two robots look like they're made of plastic.
Oh, the predator-looking things. Ooh, I can't
Yeah.
wait to get into that. So, yeah, Johnny Cage dies. So already, I'm like, fuck you, movie.
Mm.
But also, what the fuck is the whole plot? I say this with quotations. They won the tournament in the last movie.
Yeah.
But none of that mattered because they're just going to like take over the Earth anyway.
Yeah. I mean, that's, we share our frustrations with Liu Kang in the film. and Raiden gives a complete non-explanation for it. He goes, yeah, well, sometimes they cheat.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I'm kind of jumping ahead, but I love when Raiden goes to speak to the gods, and he's like, "What's up with this treachery?" He says something like that, and the gods are like, "I don't know. We can't control what people do." I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Just a breakdown of the whole cosmic order.
So, like, why even have a tournament? So, what was the whole thing? I think it's like, okay, so it's like you have to win 10 straight tournaments to take control of the Earth, right? That was the last movie, right? It was like the 10th tournament.
And it was the 10th one, yeah.
Yeah. But here they're just like, fuck it, we're gonna do it anyway. It's so contrived. Is that how video games are? Is it kind of like that?
I hate to say it. No, the video games actually have more coherent plots, at least. They don't try to do a lot of plot in these old school games. There's not a lot of room on the cartridge. So it's mostly the plots are just like he kills this guy, then this guy kills this guy in revenge. All right, but there's no oh, they cheated, so the last game doesn't matter. There's nothing that bad.
Okay, so all the like little henchmen show up. We get the half centaur dude. Mm-hmm. We get the lady with all the arms, and then we get Katana's mother,
Sindel. Yeah,
Sindel, which she says one of the most hilarious line deliveries I think in any movie.
Yeah.
So, first of all, let me set it up. Okay, so Katana sees her mother, who I guess is dead. And was this the thing in the first one?
I don't think they even brought up Sindel at all in the first movie.
So she's like, "Oh, Mom, you're alive!" And I'm like, and you as the audience, you're just like, "Wait a minute, like who is this bitch?" I didn't know she had a mom. I didn't know that her mom died. And then she says something like, hold on, I wrote it down. Mother, you're alive. Too bad. You will die.
And that's what elevates this to the best of the worst movies. Is there's all sorts of weird line delivery like that and snazzy comebacks that no one asked for.
Well, I got another time. So the thing I like about this movie is like every time I started to get bored, like there would be like a bad line delivery, or like something really cheesy, or like a bad like CGI effect, something that would like bring me back into the movie and make me laugh. But Shao Kahn, when he's like talking to his dad, Earth is under attack and it is glorious.
and then he gets up like he's gonna walk down the stairs to talk to his dad, but no, this is Mortal Kombat, baby. He does a fucking front flip into the camera.
I think this has to have the record for most like flips in a movie.
It
has to.
Oh, for sure. Flips and spin kicks. There was that brief fight scene where it's Raiden against one of the bad guys, and they're not really hitting each other. They're just spin kicking near each other.
That was weird, and that went on for like a full minute.
That was a while.
Like you could tell, like the producers were like, "Okay, you have to pan this movie out a little bit. It's not long enough, so just like do some reshoots where they're like doing spin kicks over and over and over." So I'm confused. So so the bad guys are back. They're gonna take over the world anyway. Whatever. And then they decide to like go their separate ways for some reason, and they travel in these like hamster wheels.
Yes.
And they go through the I guess the Earth's core.
They said something like it's powered by the Earth's core, but then they sexed it up a little bit because Katana's like, "Hold me." Well, they go through it because
Yeah, which that was weird because it's like, okay, who designed these hamster balls? Why would you just design it?
Why do you have to cuddle in them to travel safely in them?
Also, too, they try to set up some romance with like Katana and Liu Kang, and it's like they have no chemistry. Which,
No.
God bless the guy who played Liu Kang, but like, dude, you're a fight choreographer. You're not an actor.
No, it's weird to watch people try to have emotions in this movie beyond being excited or angry.
So they're about to kiss.
Mm-hmm.
And I still can't. Why did they? I don't know why they separated. I guess what's his name? Raiden's got to talk to the gods, but then he brings what's her name, Sonia, with him.
It's like at the beginning of the movie. Yeah, it's like a very Scooby-Doo, let's split up for no reason kind of thing. Raiden is like telling him, he's like, you need to find this guy, and you can't do this alone, so you need to find this guy, and you come with me, and we're gonna find this guy. Like he has some plan that involves Liu Kang seeing Nightwolf, this stereotypical Native American shaman character.
Oh my God, I can't wait to get to that scene. So then, like, they're about to kiss, and then they're interrupted. There's a predator-looking like robot guy.
Are we talking which one? Are we talking about the gray one or the yellow one?
The yellow one. The yellow one, I think, is first. And it's basically a predator knockoff design.
Yes, Cyrax is the name.
So that was a character in the video games.
Yeah, and his name is Cyrax because he's a cyborg. So they used Cy in his name.
So this fight, it's kind of lame, but there is a funny part where I guess he can shoot missiles out of his chest. And then like Liu Kang does this like ridiculous backflip over the missile. So that's kind of funny. And then like Sub-Zero, well, not really Sub-Zero, but his brother, I guess, shows up.
Yeah, Sub-Zero's older brother, the noob Cybot.
Yeah, and then he shows up, and then he fights. I guess doesn't the Snake Hand guy come back? He comes back.
Scorpion comes back early in the film, yeah, because he's like a demon guy.
But he died in the first one.
I don't know. I saw.
And then he kidnaps Katana, but then he's like gone from the rest of the movie.
I know. It's just they had to get everyone in this movie. They had to get every single person in this movie. Yeah, so Sub-Zero's brother is like he's like fighting for a little bit, and I love how like Liu Kang and like Katana are just like standing there watching him, when they could easily be helping. And then I don't know what happens. Like she gets kidnapped, and then he just leaves the movie. He has the power. Also, suddenly he has the power to just warp everywhere.
Oh, he makes them an ice bridge. That's why he needed to be there. He makes them an ice bridge. And then, he literally leaves the movie, and you never hear from him again. And then, then we cut to Sonia Rescues Jax, who I guess was in the first movie.
I don't remember what she was rescuing him from, or was he in the middle of experimenting on himself?
See, that's confusing. That's not set up.
Yeah, no.
At all. And what killed me at the end of the movie, I'm jumping ahead, but I thought they ripped his arms off and gave him like cyborg arms.
Yeah.
But really, that's just metal covering. He just takes off the metal at the end, and he's got regular arms. So I was like, what?
That's the worst. It's like seeing the zipper on a Mickey Mouse costume. It's like, don't ruin the fantasy like that. Yeah, so Jax is an annoying character. He's just every black stereotype. There's that, I don't know. There's like that thing that they do in movies where like the black guy is always like, now that's what I'm talking about. And, and it's when he says that, it's clearly B footage shot from a completely different position. But yeah, when he knocks Cyrax down, he's just like, yeah, baby, take that. Just real like stereotypy Luke Cage shit with this dude the whole film. Yeah, so then they fight another Predator dude, and then he does this thing where he like throws out balls from his chest that turn into acid, which was kind of a cool scene. Yeah, that was cool. Tight as shit. One of the guys gets melted. I actually like that part a lot. But then I was confused. It was like he gets knocked over into some pipes, and then she blows fire, and then he blows up. So one of her signature moves in the games is like blowing this kiss that like incinerates people. And I guess that's how they try to ground it in reality during the cyborg disintegrating nanomachines fight. Is I guess that was gunpowder. I guess we just have to assume that was some kind of explosive sand thing that she found.
I was so confused. I was like, what is going on? Like, I don't know. So yeah, because he got knocked into some air vent thing, but then I don't know.
But don't forget the money shot of that whole fight is the glass shattering scene.
Oh God.
Where we have to watch glass shatter for 2 minutes.
Which I noticed, like, the way these fights are edited is like as soon as like the punch connects or they cut. I don't know. It's very like the way these fights are filmed is very, very hacky and lazy.
Well, that's how they keep that PG-13 rating. Is you don't quite show every single punch and kick that lands. And that's how they get away with it.
Oh my God.
It's also terrible. There's a lot of B footage, like very obviously out of place B footage in this movie, or close up or side shots, like when Jade and Liu Kang are fighting, and when they want her to say something, they cut to a shot of her where she's clearly just standing still, straight up, and just kind of talking casually. But in the fight, they're like wrestling on the ground and kicking each other. But it will just cut to her just looking normal and being like, oh, you are not enough to fight Shao Kahn. And then just cut right back to them punching each other.
Also, the like that facility they're in, it like blows up for some reason. And then there's like the worst background explosion and them jumping forward ever. I was very confused by that because it's like, there wasn't like a shot of them leaving the building. It's just like, it cuts to them blowing up in the background and then just like jumping forward. Is very, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah. No, it's all sorts of, the cinematography in this movie is miserable.
Oh my God. I did have another funny line from, what's his name? The bad guy.
Shao Kahn?
Yeah, I think he says something like, tell me, did you make them beg before you destroyed their lives?
You do a great Shao Kahn voice.
Oh my God.
By the way. Yeah, and he's just like, and he talks weird. He has like almost kind of an almost weird Christopher Walken cadence, where he's just sort of like, you know, the katana spits on him or whatever, and he's just like, foolish child.
I feel so bad for this guy because I feel like he was like really, really going for it.
No, he was having a riot portraying Shao Kahn, and that's what makes him so much fun to watch. You have with him and Sindel, you have a great evil laughing scene where I think they're on horseback or something.
Oh yeah. It is almost like kind of I don't know. I got a lot of Austin Powers vibes from this movie.
Dude, it was exactly like that.
Yeah, he throws a guy in the fire.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they had that moment where he throws, where, you know, Rain because Rain didn't make them beg for their lives or whatever. And Rain goes, Master, it won't happen again. And he goes, it won't happen again. And then he throws him in the fire pit. And then he says a third fucking time, it won't happen again.
But yeah, there was that part where they just keep laughing.
But they stop. They show the come down of the laughter. They show like the awkward moment afterward. It's like you said, it's exactly like Austin Powers.
And then we got to talk about Nightwolf or whatever his name is.
God.
What a pointless fucking character. Here's the thing. Okay, so you brought up that Easter egg, I guess, in the third game where they can turn into animals. So I thought this was going to be kind of a metaphorical, spiritual journey. Like he had to find the powers within himself, you know, and he had to find the courage within himself to face the evil. But no, I was shocked at the end where he actually turns into an animal.
He actually fucking just turned into. Isn't that great? Oh, I love that you thought that.
No, I really thought like, okay, I see what they're doing. Like,
I don't blame you at all.
Also, too, I was like, okay, he's got to train with this guy. He's got to like, discover himself. But no, it really is all it is. It's like, no, you have to be able to turn into an animal to fight this other guy who could also turn into an animal.
Yeah, what a great unintentional joke. Like, no, they just literally meant turning into a fucking vicious animal.
Also, the dream is hilarious because it's like, find your animality, your animality, your animality, your animality.
Or just the first time Nightwolf talks, like all of his dialogue, it barely makes sense. It's just, but it's very lazily, like you could copy and paste it to like almost anywhere in the film. Where he's just like, I've seen better, but then again, I've also seen worse.
This movie is so repetitive. It's like, okay, a couple lines of dialogue, blah, 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 fight. Couple lines of dialogue, fight. I mean, also, yeah, the Jade scene, like she shows up and they're about to fuck, but then he's like, no, my heart belongs to another. And then she's like, you passed the first test. And I was like, what test was that? To not cheat on your maybe girlfriend?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Well,
also,
he says
doesn't he say there's 3 tasks?
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah, because first, she spawns clothes on herself and gets a spear, and then they fight each other, and then she just goes, "This is all a test." And he's like, "This is just a test," and you're just, as an audience person, you're just like, "This whole movie is a roller coaster that just doesn't stop."
Yeah, and then we cut back to Sonia, and she fights some lady. That scene's whatever. But then there's like a CGI like monster that comes out of nowhere, and it is some of the worst CGI like I ever put to screen.
And it eats Milena, yeah.
Oh, that's later in the movie, but yeah, at first, they're at that rock quarry or whatever, and she's like fighting some character I don't know. And then Jax comes up and helps, and then Jax starts fighting this just CGI monster. Yeah, it was hilarious. It was terrible. Also, too, we got to talk about Raiden. He's talking to the gods, and then when they when he's done talking to the gods, he shows up with a haircut.
Yeah, dude, and they make you know that he showed up with a haircut because he runs his hand over his hair, over his new do, before he starts talking to him. Oh, and he's dressed in black now. To be, this is. Oh man,
I think they're trying to do like a Gandalf.
I was gonna say Gandalf, but I was like, do I really want to compare this to Lord of the Rings? But yeah, you know what? Sure. And then he does. He says, he goes, hope. Never give up hope. And then he does the cutest little bunny hop off a ledge.
Well, it's so weird because like up until this point in the movie, he's been like kind of serious, but now he's kind of like being kind of goofy. I don't know. Very weird performance.
It's very progressive of the filmmakers to have a male character have a makeover that changes them.
Also, I have to talk about Jax's like constant attempts to hit on women. You have a nice set of legs for kicking, I mean. Like, what the fuck? Oh, my God.
That CGI guy you're talking about Motaro, the centaur dude?
Well, no, not that guy. There's another big, like, CGI monster.
Oh, my God.
It does eat Jade. It eats Jade towards the end of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a scene where they're, like, fighting in the rock, the rock quarry or whatever. And he just randomly shows up out of nowhere. I was very confused, but it was really funny. All right, I'm trying to think here. What else happens? Katan's mom shrieking is hilarious. Like that's her big power.
Yeah, she's supposed to blow people's flesh off, ideally.
Oh my God. Let's see here. What else do I got? There's that scene where I think it's Liu Chang is like rescuing Katan. And Katan, this is like I've never seen an actor give less of an effort in a line delivery. She's like, Liu, watch out, it's a trap.
Yeah, it's almost like that is almost like they told her to just be as stale as possible.
Yeah. Oh, and that one lady with like the 4 arms shows up. She's like, the date's over, and she dies off screen. Yeah, and Katan's mom, she gets beaten off screen. I think at that point in the movie they had ran out of budget.
I mean, yeah, Scorpion came back to life off screen.
Yeah, it's like all these cool fights that between these characters that you wanted to see, like you don't see.
Mm-hmm.
There's that cage falls on top of the lady with the forearms, and you're like, oh, okay, that was it. Yeah, and I guess there's like this whole thing too, where like I guess Katan's mother is supposed to be like the key to them shutting the portals. I'm so confused, but nothing happens with that.
Nope.
And then Jade is like, I betrayed you guys, but it's like, okay. And then that CGI monster eats. There's this one line. He's like, I'm gonna feed you to the worms, or he says something. Yeah, let's see here. Oh, and then pretty much blah 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 blah. We get to the final fight, and then they use their animality.
Really turn into animals.
Which is
yeah. Speaking of off-screen shit, because they're trying to put in every single fucking character ever into this. So he also just name drops 2 characters who don't appear in the film, but like that they've died or something. He talks about, I think, Cabal and somebody else. And it's just like, why bring up these names and just never show them?
Oh, I know what he says. I will feed your rotting corpse to the worms. Yeah. Also too, Raiden. Oh, okay. This was supposed to be a bigger shock, but it came off as like whatever. I guess Shao Kahn is the brother of Raiden, and you're like, oh, okay, okay.
Dude, this classic blockbuster cinema. Everyone's related to each other.
Yeah. And then they do this thing where, like, I guess. These dragons come out of their backs or something. The tattoo dragon comes out. I don't know. It's very weird. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't have anything to do with anything. Because Raiden is like, oh, I'm a descendant of blah, blah, blah. But like, then he dies really quickly. I mean, it's terrible. But yeah, Raiden dies like a bitch after one, like, not even a punch. He does some magic and kills him. And then, and then they all fight. And then, they turn into, I guess, Liu turns into a wolf monster. And then Shao Kahn turns into, like, basically Ghidorah from Godzilla, like a three-headed dragon. And it's so funny because you could tell, like, they only fight for a minute and then they just turn back because they ran out of money.
They ran out of money. Their animal spirit wasn't strong enough.
And which is honestly, Shao Kahn kind of just kind of gives up. That's kind of the movie.
He just I can't even make sense of like the story of like the last part of that with like the 3-headed dragon and then they fight and then the gods come and they look very angry and upset. But they look like regular ass people at the same time.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, the gods come, and then they're like, "We declare Mortal Kombat," because so now I guess the gods do control it. Convenient. And then I guess I don't even remember how Shao Kahn dies. I think he gets beat up, and then that dragon thing comes out of his back, and then he just dies. And then they trap his dad into this weird cube thing. And then that's kind of the movie. Oh, and then Raiden comes back.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, and then he just floats away. He's like, there may be a day where blah, 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 but you guys have to be family. This movie was very ahead of the time. Like, it was Fast and the Furious before Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
Family.
And yeah, Raiden just he's just like, my planet needs me, and just kind of floats off.
Oh, also, I love how the world is coming back to normal. And then there's like stock footage of like the Twin Towers and then like the Eiffel Tower and like just like the San Francisco, like the Golden Gate Bridge. Like, also another thing that bugged me about this movie is like the world is ending, right? It's like Armageddon, but we never get to see like actual people, like humans, how they react to this. Like,
no, they were having a hard enough time putting in every single character from the first 3 Mortal Kombat games.
it would be interesting to see, like, I don't know, a shot where like the president is like, "Whoa, God bless you. May God be with." I don't know. May God be with you.
God, I hope there's a scene with the president of the United States in this new movie where he actually says the words Mortal Kombat with a straight face.
Oh my God.
I want that so bad. Oh, don't forget the little shitty CG lightning effects they threw over the stock footage of the towers and the landmarks.
Oh my
to
God.
show that there was magic happening.
Oh, so they shot this new movie when Trump was in office, so maybe Trump will have a cameo like, I declare Mortal Kombat. I don't know. That's like the worst Trump impression, but I don't know. I point is, we needed to see like the rest of the world and how they react to this. I don't know. It was so weird. It's like, doesn't feel like anything's at like stake or anything.
It felt like watching a party. Like people are just kind of coming in and they just leave and you don't really get any closure or see them again. And then there's no really definite ending to it. It just kind of fizzles out after a certain moment. And you're like, well, I guess that was it. Great party.
Yeah, Lou and Katana finally have their kiss.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen less chemistry between two actors in a movie romantically ever. Oh yeah, and then Katana and her mom, I guess, are friends now.
Yeah, no, yeah, she just suddenly becomes cool.
Yeah, she's like, oh, we got to do a lot of catching up to do.
And they stand there during the final fight between Shao Kahn and Liu Kang. They're all standing there just so awkwardly, just watching. No one's doing anything. They're just looking.
That's half this movie. Half the movie is like people on the sidelines just looking.
Yeah.
It's like, well, why don't you get in there and help?
And then there's this cut where like Shao Kahn does something and Liu Kang like looks upward. He like jerks his head upward, and then they cut to the 5 people just standing watching it, and they all like look their head upward and go like, "Whoa, what was that?"
Also, there was like
have to show them also wondering what's going on.
Also, the dialogue is atrocious. There's like a line with like Jax, and he's like, he gets knocked down. He's like, I don't know if I could take much more than this. And then literally a second later, he's like, is that all you got? Yeah. Like, it's just like contradictory.
Dude, like, Jax is just like, he's just one of those dolls with like the old dolls with the drawstring and just kind of says catchphrases.
Yes, actually, yeah, that's a great point.
Like when they actually like knock Cyrax into the fire, he's just like, they barbecued his ass.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much all I have for notes.
I just can't believe that Jax's fake arms get taken off and he has real normal arms underneath, and it happens at like the climax of the movie.
Oh, and like he had a lot of trouble beating the guy when he had his metal arms, but only when he took off his metal arms and used his real arms and found his real self was he able to persevere and beat that half centaur lizard man. Oh my God. Yeah. God. It's hilariously bad.
It's just it just never, it doesn't stop. Like, it's like you said, it's like dialogue, fight, dialogue, fight, dialogue's all shitty, fighting's all shitty. It looks like half the few real sets they use just look like the inside of an old Laser Quest.
You know what? Actually, that's a good point. I am kind of getting some Laser Quest vibes. Yeah. Trivia. There was a third Mortal Kombat film in development. It was going to be called Mortal Kombat Devastation. But this movie, I think it obviously it was a bomb with the critics. I don't think it did that well either. It made $35 million in the US, and worldwide it made 51, and it had a $30 million budget, which is like, I don't think it made a ton of money. It probably maybe broke even. I don't know. Which is interesting. I looked at the budget for the last movie. It was like 18 and this is 30, but somehow this looks like way worse.
Yeah.
Even though it has like twice the budget. But yeah, it was going to be, Mortal Kombat Devastation. And they were going to bring Johnny Cage back. They were going to resurrect him. Awesome. And it was going to be, they resurrected Johnny Cage, and he was going to help the heroes against Quan Chi and a resurrected Shang Tsung. Who's Quan Chi? I'm not. Is that, does that mean anything to you? Is that a character in the games?
I think he's like a bad elder god. I love Mortal Kombat. I have fun watching these shitty movies and all that. But even earlier when we were talking about the monster that eats Milena, so much of this shit just blends together because so many of these characters are just so similar to one another.
Also, I thought this was interesting. I think they were gonna make it. But then Hurricane Katrina hit and wiped out all the sets. So
that's what it was.
That's what it said in IMDb trivia. I think they were ready to go, and I think Hurricane Katrina happened and all the sets were destroyed.
Flawless victory. That's the real reason. People, religious people speculate on why, but like that's what happened. Is God was actually saving us from Mortal Kombat devastation.
God thought we weren't ready yet.
No, we were not yet ready as mortals. Quan Chi, I think he's just like a random sorcerer bad guy. I don't think he's anyone's father or something. Although I'm sure the movie would have made him be written as like Raiden's son or some bullshit.
Also, I read that Quan Chi was going to appear in the climax of this movie, but his scenes got cut. So I don't, like I said, Quan Chi means nothing to me. Lyndon Ashby was asked to return as Johnny Cage, but turned it down after reading the script. I think he was in the script more. I bet he was in the script more. I think when he turned it down, I'm sure they like killed him off, and they probably replaced him with Jax. I guarantee you that's what happened.
Yeah. What's tough about doing a movie in this universe, and I touched on this in the last episode we did about Mortal Kombat, a lot of these characters are literally just recolors. They would take the video game dot work and just recolor blue to yellow, and that's how they got Scorpion and Sub-Zero. So to try and make a film about a universe where characters are literally just recolors and glitches of one another, you're going uphill trying to make interesting people.
Paul W.S. Anderson was offered to return for this film, but he chose to work on Event Horizon instead. Event Horizon, that's an interesting movie. It's I haven't seen it in a while, but I remember liking it. He later expressed his dislike for the film and regretted that he chose not to be involved in it. It was one of the reasons that he remained involved in the making of the sequels to Resident Evil as a way of, quote unquote, staying with the franchise and shepherd it, which
Resident Evil fans don't even watch the Resident Evil movies. Those are so far removed from.
I think I stopped after 3.
Yeah.
There's 6 of them, right?
I think they did 6.
He directed most of them. Yeah. I mean, they are what they are. They're horrible movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's sad that that we wish Paul W. Anderson directed this. That's pretty that's pretty bad. Like when you want Paul W. S. Anderson to direct a movie.
Oh my God. Also, like what he's calling him. This is just about him. He calls himself Paul W. S. Anderson. Like, I just feel like there's a rule that your name shouldn't sound so close to another director's name, especially that
P.T. Anderson, Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah, or Wes Anderson.
Well, Paul Thomas Anderson is like a similar sounding name, but he makes good movies like Boogie Nights and There Will Be Blood and a bunch of others. Maybe he was like, I want people to mistake me for him.
Yeah. So I'll call myself W.S. Anderson. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this director, I looked him up, John R. Leonetti. He's directed a lot of stinkers. He did The Butterfly Effect 2, which I have not seen. I
didn't know that existed.
That's a thing. Annabelle. Do you remember that doll movie, Annabelle? He directed that.
I saw previews for that, yeah.
And then he did Wish Upon, which I hear is hilariously bad. Yeah, he's made a lot of shitty movies. I think this was like his directorial debut. And yeah,
what a hell of a way to kick off your career.
Let's get into categories. So let me ask you, what is the best scene in this movie?
The best scene in Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
The whole movie.
Oh my God. To me, there's a lot of fight scenes. There's a lot of dumb talky scenes. I really, really like the first encounter with Nightwolf and how it just flows into the fight with Jade. And it's just like, because that's what makes this question difficult, is like, I'm having a hard time separating scenes because they just seem to flow like one giant chunk of the movie into the next because there's just no breathing room. But I like that they're like, you have to find this shaman named Nightwolf, and he just shows up and he's just this horrible Native American stereotype.
Also,
zingers.
They do this like POV shot where like the wolf is jumping on him, and he's like, basically, it's the actor who plays Liu Kang, basically shaking the camera in front of his face.
Yeah,
pretty much. Okay, so that's your best scene. Oh my God, this is like hard because. Yeah, it all kind of blends together. I
mean, I like the opening a lot too.
I hate the opening because Johnny Cage dies. I'm gonna go with the end, like the dumb battle where they turn into animals.
That's great.
What's the worst scene of this movie? That's the thing. Like the best scene and the worst scene, very, very similar. This basically the whole movie.
Just when I think the worst scene, and when I said best, by the way, that's just the scene that's most entertaining to me. I think the dumbest scene in this movie is when Shao Kahn, the one where Shao Kahn throws Rain into the fire, because it just doesn't do anything to the plot at all. We didn't know who Rain was before this. We don't know anything about him after this. Like, his loss is so inconsequential. And what is it for? He's just trying to pick another one of his generals. And he's got Shiva and like Motaro, the centaur dude right there, the Minotaur centaur guy. His name is Motaro.
He looked awesome, by the way.
Cool design, yeah. They're just standing there. And when he says, I need to pick like a new general, that kind of tells the viewer that these monster people are literally just standing there, not doing anything to help anything. They're just there. And then you have that terrific repetition, it will not happen again, that gets said way too many times.
The worst scene, it's easy for me, actually. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, when Johnny Cage dies. Bullshit.
But that is the same scene where you get the world was created in 6 days and so too shall it be destroyed.
Yeah.
Too bad you will die.
Oh, yeah.
What an opener. First, huge shout out to the establishing shot that's all green screen, but it's just ninjas flipping like in and out of the frame.
They're really coming out of thin air, I guess.
I'm into that. Like, this movie just slayed with the 10-year-old boy demographic. Just absolutely crushed it. People came, when they arrived from Outerworld, they came in like fireballs that hit the ground.
I do like that opening. I just don't like that Johnny Cage dies.
No, I can't stand it. But it's nice that they kind of like, were respectful about how important he was by showing his aviators clink against the ground in slow motion.
Best quote. Oh, this is easy. Mom, you're back. Wait, what did she say?
Mother, you're alive.
No. Oh, yeah. You're alive. Too bad. You will die. It's between that or Earth is under attack and it is glorious. I'm gonna go with the first one because that is just like, at least in the second line, it's like he's giving it his all. Like, she just does not know how to act. They used that take. Like, did the director really, like? I know it was his first movie, but he had worked on other movies before. Did he really think that was a good take?
To me, this seemed like a movie that never left editing. This was like the very first cut of all the footage being slapped together. And
I don't think
fuck it, it's perfect.
I don't think there were any takes. The second takes, any second takes. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it was all first takes. They're like, we want to get this movie. We want to do it cheaply. We want to do it as quickly as possible.
The camera was not plugged in, and they just did every scene as fast as they possibly could.
we actually missed a lot of crucial scenes that would make the movie make more sense. Fuck it. Fine.
No one knows what happens to Ermac. No one needs to know.
Scorpion, for that matter. What happened to him? He literally leaves the movie.
But how emotionally attached is anyone to a character named Scorpion?
Well, we're not. We just like his cool, snake hands.
Get over here. So Ed Boon, the creator of Mortal Kombat, delivers the line "Get over here" in that first Scorpion appearance.
Ooh, also, I don't know if you remember this, but there's that scene where I think Scorpion takes Katana, and I swear to God, Scorpion is like, sucker!
Yeah, he says sucker. He's supposed to be this immortal warrior. He calls them suckers.
Ooh, that might be the best line of the movie. I don't know. What is your best line of the movie?
I love all of that. I love anything that comes out of Shao Kahn's mouth because there's lovely way he talks. I really want to give a shout to when Raiden, in the games, he's Raiden, Raidn, because that's how that name is pronounced. But in this one, they're like, people won't understand. That's way too Japanese. People won't get that. So they spell it in the script and say it as Raiden, Rayden. Like, if to change someone's name to be more like white and American is ridiculous. But when he sees the Earth people again after losing his immortality, he brushes his hair back and he goes, "Hope! You never give up hope."
Okay, are you familiar with Neil Breen?
No, what's Neil Breen about?
He makes bad movies.
Great.
I don't know. Red Letter Media, they do a lot of they make fun of a lot of his movies. They've done reviews on his movies. Just look up Neil Breen when you get off and tell me he doesn't look like Raiden when he comes back.
But it's also that Raiden, when he does that, he hops off the step because no one is allowed to walk in this movie. So he hops down the stair, and it looks so stupid. The first time I saw it as an adult, I played that 2 seconds back over and over again. It just looks so cringy and dumb. But it is. It's like you're either jogging, you're shuffling, you're back flipping, you're front flipping, or you're hopping.
I didn't notice the hop. I'm gonna have to go back and look at that.
It looks so dopey.
I remember him saying have hope or whatever. I don't remember him doing the hop. I'm gonna look it up. Okay. So that's your quote of the movie is have faith, or what does he say?
Is hope. A little hop. Never give up hope.
Okay. Well, this is a tough one. Best unintentional comedic moment.
The whole fucking
movie. The whole movie.
God damn, the whole thing. There is not a stretch of any there's not a deterministic stretch of any time in this movie that is serious.
I think I have one.
Really?
When Katana is like, "Lou, watch out, it's a trap."
Yeah, because there's no emotion in that.
Because there's no emotion in it. And you could tell she was trying to whisper and be quiet. But she did not sell the line at all. And it also, on top of that, it was the most obvious fucking thing that it was going to be a trap. So I guess if I had to pick anything for that category, it would be that one. But yeah, the whole fucking movie.
It's, oh my God. I just reliving all these lines and man, and there's so many establishing shots that I love where people are in a power stance on top of a hill or some structure. And you just have the guitar be like, bam.
Yeah, a lot of stances. Yeah.
Oh, and you know what? I think that's appropriate for this movie.
Also, the soundtrack. I mean, every time they're fighting, it's some kind of techno, music or something.
Oh my God! Very every time there's a fight.
Some of it I kind of liked.
I'm into it. I mean, that's it's staying true to the theme of the atmosphere of the movie for sure.
Okay, yeah, so this is tough. Best performance. I mean,
that's easy for me.
Was anyone good in this movie?
Good is subjective, but I mean, Brian Thompson is Shao Kahn to me. That's my favorite. Because you can tell he's just having fun the whole movie.
Is he? So you think he's like self-aware, like hamming it up?
I just can't imagine, like, just the way he just talks, like every muscle in his jaw and lips moves whenever he just says every word. Like no scene is left unchewed by him.
So I'm gonna play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
I think so. I have a theory. I could be wrong. I like what you say does kind of make sense. But up until Mortal Kombat Annihilation, I feel like Brian Thompson just was like the muscle in movies. He kind of didn't talk much, and he was kind of the henchman. And I think the director was like, "You're gonna be my Bobby De Niro. This is your big shot, kid." And I think he's really going for it. And I don't know how self-aware it is. So I don't know, but is he the best performance? I mean, nobody is good in this movie though. That's the thing.
Nobody's good, but as far as best, I think it's definitely one of the villains.
Best effort, yeah, I guess I'd give it to Brian Thompson. I don't know how good it is, but it is.
He is kind of like that performance and that with that character. That is kind of like, what if the henchman was actually in charge?
Yeah, he just doesn't seem like leading villain material. I don't know. Nothing against the guy, but I'm sure he's listening right now. I'm very pissed. Like he doesn't.
That movie was my masterpiece.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I guess I'll give it to Brian Thompson. What about James Remar though as Raiden? He is probably the best actor in this movie. Out of all the things I've seen him in, he is probably the best actor in this movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if he has the best performance.
I'm sure he was given the note or the instruction to be more like folksy and shit once he lost his immortality in the film.
We'll give it to Brian Thompson. Okay, worst performance. I mean, it's got to be Sonia's mother.
Yeah.
Or not Sonia's mother, but Katana's mother.
Katana's mother, yeah.
Katana's mother. Although Katana's bad herself.
I was going to say, yeah, I don't like Katana in this at all. Just the acting from Katana is terrible.
Sonia's pretty bad too, but...
Yeah. Oh my God. It's just... what's the definition of best and worst here? Because, like...
Okay, so I guess best would be... Normally, it would be like, what is the most legit good performance? But I think in this case, we're going to have to tweak the rules. What is the most entertaining performance?
Yeah.
And then I would say worst performance. What is just like the least entertaining performance? We'll go with that.
There's nothing that Katana does that makes me happy in this movie. There's no especially shittily driven line.
You know what? I'm going to say this. I was going to go with Sonia, or not Sonia, Katana's mother. But I think you could put her in the Brian Thompson category, just hamming it up.
Oh, yeah.
She kind of is the most entertaining. I was going to say Katana, but hot take, I actually think Liu Kang is just a wet blanket in this movie. A wet blanket.
Oh, yeah.
Because he doesn't say, like, each, whether they mean to or not, each actor, I feel like, does have, like, an unintentionally funny moment. With him, there's, like, nothing.
No, it's just he just looks concerned throughout the whole movie. He just has like minor concern with like brief bouts of being angry.
So for worst performance, I think I am going to go the guy who plays Liu Kang.
I'll give that to you. Yeah, no, I think so, for sure.
Okay, I think we've reached the end of the episode.
Unfortunately, I want to give a shout to one more scene. It's shortly after Raiden meets people as immortal, and they're running from something, and they're playing people running away from something music, but they're just kind of briskly jogging, barely. Like if you look at it again out of context, it's just, oh man, this movie is a treasure trove of shit like that. I could be here all night.
So give me your final thoughts and then rate this out of 5.
The fact that I mean, this shit was terrible. It was the perfect thing to see as a little kid, but obviously, it was shit then. It's shit now. But shit, it's so just entertaining. It's just funny as hell to watch. Great thing to watch if you want to have some friends over and drink and want to throw in something crappy. So for that, I will elevate it beyond 0 to 1 out of 5. Because at least it's funny. At least it's one of the best worst movies ever made. And I love any movie where there is just no common sense.
So I was kind of thinking about this. Like, I like what you said. I do think I kind of want to get a bunch of us together and watch this.
I would love that. I would really love that.
Maybe after we watch the new one, we could put this one on.
Really appreciate how far we've come.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun. So I do. Yeah, I think this is a quintessential movie to get some friends together and have some beers. Because it was funny, actually. Jeff had come over for like 10 minutes and then he like left, but he had watched a little bit of this movie with me, and he saw the scene where they turned into monsters at the end. And he was like laughing his ass off. But I was kind of thinking about this. I don't know if I would say this is one of the worst movies ever, because there's so many like countless, straight to DVD shitty movies. I will say this though. I think this might be the worst movie released in theaters of all time.
Oh yeah.
Because the CGI is so bad and it is shocking that they released this in theaters. I mean, even at the time, 97, like this was bad CGI.
Yeah, 90s. Let's see, 1997. What else were we getting around there at the time? 12 Angry Men.
12. Yeah, the CGI in 12 Angry Men was just also a trip.
I'm just trying to think about like the
Godzilla.
context.
I know they had Godzilla. Spawn. Spawn is notorious bad.
Wow, 1997 was a hell of a year for movies. That was also Titanic, Hercules. And then on the other end of that, we got Batman and Robin and Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Ooh, I would love to review Batman and Robin.
Oh my god.
Oh, maybe that'll be the next one you do when you come on here.
Sure, yeah. No, I mean, I think Batman Forever, I think, would be a good candidate for this podcast because that was kind of a mediocre, polarizing movie.
I have a lot to say about both of those.
Yeah.
But no, I think this is probably one of the worst movies ever released in theaters. I don't know if I'd go so far as to say it's one of the worst movies ever, but it's in theaters. Like this got released in theaters. It does feel kind of like a straight to DVD. It's got that quality to it.
It definitely does. I mean, the recasting, the blatant recasting, absolutely gives it straight to DVD vibes.
Yeah. But I will say, like, I think this is a classic, so bad it's good movie. I mean, it's got everything you could want. I mean, like, you have actors just going to 11, just giving it their all, just hamming it up, and then you have actors who don't give a shit. Underacting, overacting, sideways, left, right acting, all kind of acting. All right, every spectrum of acting. And then, just horrible CGI, just editing, dialogue, just everything.
Characters just disappear.
Yeah, I mean, the story doesn't make any sense. Characters come and go.
I love that. That's a plot point. It is a plot point in the film that the story does not make sense.
Yeah.
They just
even the movie tells you that they don't know.
Yeah.
Like Raiden's like, hey, what's up with the treachery? And they're like, I don't know.
We're not sure.
But I would give this a 1 out of 5. I mean, it's an objective bad movie, but in my heart, like entertainment value, like it's a 5 out of 5. Entertainment.
For sure.
Value.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so the first one's better. But I actually, if I had to pick which one I'd want to watch again, I would watch this one again.
Same. Exactly. Absolutely the same.
I think that about does it. Anything else to add about Annihilation?
I think that's about it. I'll say what I said at the top of the episode. It's not the Mortal Kombat movie that we needed, but it was the Power Rangers feature that we deserved.
Oh, did you see, what was it? Was it Power Rangers, the one in the 90? Oh, there was a shitty Power Rangers movie.
Yes, I saw that one.
I think it was Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Also, another movie where nobody walks. It's all backflip.
I was getting the CGI. I was getting some Ivan Ooze vibes. Like,
yeah.
I would love to talk about that one. This movie might just become a bad movie podcast, actually. Okay, well, I'm excited to see the new one. Trip, thanks for doing this. We're gonna have to have you on to talk about something other than Mortal Kombat.
For sure, yeah. No, I'd like to broaden my movie podcast horizons a little bit.
Definitely. All right. Well, that's it. Thanks for listening. We will see you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.